Hello? Yes. Hey, man, how you? Can I call you back? All right, well. All right. Hey, the amazing Ann Allen Westbrook joining us probably from Atlanta. Good evening. Oh, let me put my light on. Sophia, good to see you. Good evening. Monica, hello. Cynthia is on with us. Hello, Janet. Thank you for joining us. Shalonda is on with us. Mardell, good evening. And little cool Jeanette is on. Hey, Jeanette. Thank you for joining us. Jean Coleman is on with us. Thank you for joining us. Angela Benton is on. Hello. Hey, Bernice Loman. Good to see you. Natasha peeking in from Little Rock. Good to see you. Camilla. Hello. Good to see Linda Kelly, a super realtor. Krista Weeks is on with us. E. Joyce Paris is on with us every week. Good to see Brother Calvin Calhoun as well. Patricia, thank you so much. Brenda Ponda is on. Judy Nixon Johnson rarely misses a date. Good to see Sarah Stevens. Liberty City's finest and Liberty County's finest are on with us. Thank you for joining us. Barbara Dolores is on. Good to see you, ma'am. Hello, Helen. Thank you for joining us. And Patrick Underwood from Liberty County, thank you for joining us. And Monica is asking the question, and I'll let you guess which week it is. Patricia, good to see you. Um, Nicole is on from Massachusetts, and she says, I'm still her mayor, or you still my constituent. So, Debbie Williams Walker, Debbie Williams Walker, Debbie Williams Walker, good to see you. Lydia, good evening. Akila is on with us. Kat is on with us. Monica, good to see you as well. Felicia, good to see you. Good to see Aunt Ollie on with us. Thank you. Brent Grant is on with us. Always, I haven't, like I said, when I said I didn't see you, Brent, then I saw you. Tashi, good evening to you. Virgil is on with us. Shannon, hello. Good to see you. Kathy is on with us. Sunshine Tammy, good evening. Kathy Grant. Hey, Kathy, thank you for joining us. Ariella is on from Missouri, so I know it's probably cold up in that piece. Gloria Wells is here. Tanya Roberts has joined us. Drusilla is on with us as well. Carolyn Scott, good to see you. Patricia Johnson is sending shout outs, and it's good to see David Minkowitz on as well. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, and then certainly Thomas Hart, who is a regular date nighter with us. Um, Reverend Thomas Hart lost his mom, so I'm sending you some love, and we call her Queen Hart, and so our thoughts and prayers are out for you, Reverend Hart, and we're thinking about you, and I know how much you loved your mom and loved on your mom, and I loved your mom. Everybody loved your mom, and so everybody, y'all give Thomas Hart some love, uh, Reverend Hart, as he um, walks the final mile of the way with his beloved mom. So good to see Harriet on as well. Krista, thank you for joining us. Angela, I saw Angela like 2 or 3 times this week. I was shocked because I hadn't seen her in a minute, and then all of a sudden I was like seeing her all over the place. So thank you for like like mini stalking me, Angela. Good to see you. Um, um, let's see who else. Um, let's see. Kathy Middleton is on. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Childers is on. Um, and Shalonda, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Um, Gruel Francis, Ruel came and sat in an entire city council meeting yesterday. It was 14 or 15 items. It should have been an hour. It was like 3.5 hours. So, Ruel, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. And you see what our life is like sometimes. And Molly Lieberman is on. She's on before Mama Marsha. Good to see you, Molly, and happy Friday to you. Antoinette Swindell is on. Good to see you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Evelyn Marshall is on with us. Janine Brown has come on, and so we send our love to her. Barbara Pinkney, hello, good to see you as well. And we're sending out our condolences to the Hart families, um, to Reverend Thomas Hart and his sister in the homegoing of their mom. And again, their mom, the Queen, as we called her, would come on Friday Night Live every now and then. So we're thinking about you. Tamara, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Also, Catherine, thank you so much. Helen says it's cold outside. It is, but it could be colder. Margie, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Brother Richard Dinkins is on as well. Glenda, I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But thank you so much for joining us as well. Um, and it's been a long, interesting, and then it's turned into a really rough day. Um, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So, since Richard is with us, we know right next to him is Joya. Joya has joined him, and so I'm wondering who's on the left side and who's on the right side. Is it Joya? Is it Richard then Joya to the right, or is it um, Joya then Richard? So just let me know. Um, Good to see Ula Murphy on. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. Jacqueline Grant has joined us as well. So glad to have you on this Friday, um, where a lot of things happening, a lot of things we want to talk about. I apologize for running a little bit late. Was um, helping to celebrate and then having to deliberate, so to speak. Good to see Coach Cassell Bell on. Matter of fact, I'm speaking in Jacksonville on Sunday, I think, Coach. So I'll be in your neck of the woods speaking. Tia, good to see you. Carmesita is on. I hope that you're doing well. Hope your dad is doing well. Of course, Julia Carter is on with us. So, Miss Julia, I'm going to go ahead and just give you love because that's what I just got used to doing. So, I'm going to give you some love, and y'all give her some love as well. Um, and Alicia is on as well. I'm giving her some love as she continues to mourn her dad. Edna Williams is on with us. Um, Thank you. Mama Marsha is on. So, yes, I'm giving her some love. Mama Marsha is on. So, let me give her some love. And, all right, so Joya is on the right side. So, it's Richard and Joya. Okay. Um, Cassell, I'll find out where. I don't know. I'm speaking for some type of event. I don't know. LaMonica Graham, hey, thank you for joining us. And of course, uh, Laura Renee is on all the way from um, Laura Renee is on all the way from Pennsylvania. And yes, we send our love to our girl Shauna Kennedy. Shauna Kennedy is a regular date nighter, and she lost her husband, my friend Van Kennedy. Good brother, and I send out my love to Shauna and you all as well. Brother Keith Kimball has stepped in, so good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Um, and of course, uh, Renee Queen has come. Hopefully, will be Savannah's latest, newest citizen. We're waiting to hear from you about that. Crystal Creations is on. Miss Julia loves us all, and we love you too. Um, and John Hall is coming in a little late. Me too. Um, Annette, good to see you. Hello as well. And Dad is doing better, so we're glad about that. We give you some love. And Nathalie is trying to be petty, saying sorry about my Giants, but as I told you all, I mean, um, we weren't supposed to be there in the first place. So we got to the second round, and so the Cowboys are sitting down with us too. And those Falcons never even made it to the playoffs. So we're grateful for things as they are. And I think I'm going for the 49ers since I don't want nobody from the NFC East to go. Since we didn't go, nobody else goes either. So, Lily Reddick, good to see you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Good to see Eloise Dudley. Always good to see you. Always good to see you as well. And so you all know what it is. You know it's Friday. Sorry to be running a little bit late. Good to see Jacqueline Jones White as well. Good to see my beautiful niece, Stony. I'm giving you love. Hope Saya is doing better. Lucille Bacon is watching. Ruel says, leave the Cowboys alone. Well, no, the season left the Cowboys alone. They sitting at home right next to us. And Natalie's about the Eagles. but I'm hoping y'all get stomped by the 49ers on. I'm just hoping. But Helen, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. But it's Friday. You know what we do on Friday. Friday we get together. Friday we show love. Friday we lift each other up. Friday we have real conversation. And so that means it is Friday Night Live. Yes, 100 Friday Night Live, and running a little bit late because I had some stuff that was going on, but I told him I had to go. And I was with some phenomenal people doing some phenomenal things, but I had to go. I had work to do. I had places to go. I had people to see. And so, guess what? This week, week number 149, 149 weeks, 1,044 days, 2 years, 10 months, or 34 months, every single Friday, rain or shine, no matter where I am, no matter where you are, for 144 weeks, we have been getting together. 144 weeks, 49 weeks. We have been getting together every single Friday. And I am so grateful to all of you for continuing to make this a thing, make it a situationship, make it a relationship. Hey, Snowy, good to see you. Thank you so much. 149 weeks of high vibranium, high love, and everything going on, and we lift each other up. And so I appreciate you all being with us every week, 149 weeks. And so we continue to keep moving. Good to see you, Carolyn. And 149 weeks, and we are still here. So a couple things we want you to do. First thing we want you to do is like the page. You know, as we do every week, we want you to like the page. Like the page. Do me a favor. Like the page. Like it. All right, we're almost close to 40,000 people. And so for those who want to doubt our strength, they don't realize that we're at 40,000 people. We're not at 12. We're not at 30 people. We're at 40,000 people. Hey, Brother Anthony Jones, I hope Detroit worked out real well. Good to see Renee on with us as well. Second thing we want you to do, we want you to share the video. Share the video. Share it. Share the video. We are not selfish with our love, and so we want you to go ahead and do that as well. And then thirdly, as we do, Loto, good to see you. I hope that you are, I hope Leroy is not working tonight. I hope you gave him a break. And guess what? Eloise Dudley celebrated her 80th birthday on January 23rd. I'm giving you love. Ladies and gentlemen, let's show us, everybody, y'all go ahead and give Miss Eloise Dudley some love. We love her. And she is an amazing woman of God, amazing singer. And we love her. And she is 80 years old. That is called an octogenarian. And so y'all go ahead and show her some love for her 80th birthday. All right? Because we get, 10, and then we get 10 more by strength. And so that means that she's a strong woman. Miss Eloise, we love you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Edward is on with us. He's from Spring Hill, Florida tonight. So good to see you, Edward. We appreciate that. And Miss Julia sending out love. We appreciate that. And thank you, Miss Andre. I appreciate you. And I was happy to see you last week. So thank you as well. And everybody sing out love to Miss Eloise Dudley. Brenda Scott Price is on. And good evening. Good evening, Margarita. Thank you for joining us. And so Maxine Jones is on with us, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Good to see all of you. And again, congratulations to Miss Eloise Dudley, sending out prayers to Shauna Kennedy and the passing of Van Kennedy, my big brother, as he's told me, and my friend. Shouts out to and love to Reverend Thomas Hart, the passing of his beloved mom. And we'll do as we always do. We hold each other up. We hold each other up. We pray for each other. Rachel was on, and Rachel told me that she just felt better. So we're sending out love for her. Y'all were praying for her last week. We don't know what was going on, but we know she wasn't feeling right. And so we know those of you who knew the words of prayer prayed. And we believe prayer changes things, prayer changes people. Tam Reeds, thank you for joining us. Miss Albernia Jackson is on as well. Thank you so much. So two things. I want to deal first with the elephant in the room. Um, want to deal with the elephant in the room. Hey, B. Michelle. Um, so part of me being late was also watching what happened in Memphis. I was told from people I know on the ground there and people I knew in government that it was not good, and it was not. Um, and I don't know what to think. Um, I looked at it, started looking at it from a law enforcement eye. As many of you know, I've done law enforcement. I've done law enforcement instructing. I looked at it from an internal affairs or a professional standards point of view, from a human resources point of view. Good to see you, Barry. Hope you're doing well. Good to see Miss Phyllis on with us. Um, but then I couldn't because eventually, I had to look at it as a human. Um, I appreciate you, Shalonda, for praying for me. Thank you for coming by. Um, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Generally, you we talk past the amount of force necessary to meet a threat. Good to see you, Doris. Good to see you, Cynthia. To meet a threat and then to exceed the threat or to overcome the threat. And I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. And we're sending out love to our girl Tara. Hashtag Tara Strong, 3 green apple hearts, and then now red heart. That is the Friday Night Love, Friday Night Live for our girl. Okay, good to see Miss Sadie. I appreciate you. And she has been with me for 149 weeks. I love you, Miss Sadie. Thank you so much. She is the elder. I think she has Miss Eloise beat. Miss Eloise is 80, and I think Miss Sadie is is a little bit elder than that. Um, hey, Mindy, good to see you. Um, but it gets to a point. Uh, hey, Juanita, thank you for joining us. Um, that people should expect, and again, let me say this: that all the facts are not out. Um, there is and will be an investigation. There should be an investigation in which the entire timeline and all of the events or contributing events are analyzed. But to be honest with you, um, and it was difficult. Um, that for a traffic stop or for a situation in which there was no, um, hey Keisha, it wasn't any um, realized threat that this occurred, that this should have occurred. Um, and again, we have these situations even in Savannah. We've had those situations, and I've asked you all that we wait until the investigation is complete, which includes viewing of the video. Um, but I needed to see for myself because oftentimes um, we rise up in watching white officers use excessive force against black men. And in this case, all the officers were black. Um, Wrong is wrong, whether you're white or whether you're black. The violation of someone's civil rights or their human rights is wrong no matter what color you are. And again, for me, and I'm saying it again because some of y'all will take it out of context, I want to make sure that a thorough investigation occurs um, because we owe it to everyone that a valid investigation occurs. But on the other side of it, I wanted to just see for myself what was going on, or with a trained eye, what could this young man have done to warrant this type of treatment from people who should be supposed to be protecting them. And I'm going to say it again, and let's be really clear that all police officers are not bad. Um, we swore in police officers at the Savannah Police Department today. And I've said it before, and I think that the Savannah Police Department um, is among the best in the world. I also understand that although, you know, they are endowed with some very um, significant powers, that they're also human. And I realize that humans make mistakes. But there's a difference between human mistake and indifference to human life. That is why there was probable cause to A, fire those officers, and number two, to charge those officers with the same offense, whether they are involved in a beating or not. Because, as I've often said, that there are those who commit the act, and then there are those who watch the act occur, who have a duty to intervene, and they don't intervene. And so, therefore, they um, become just as guilty as those who did the beating themselves. And as a mayor who has a police department, I'm always wanting to see, what lessons or what thoughts or what training can we glean from these types of situations. And it was disturbing to hear this young man call for his mama. Call for his mama. And for me, babies call for their mama. Hey, Tabitha. Um, hey, Kathy, we're glad you're with us. When a grown man or a grown woman, when they call for their mama, this is just me, this is just my views, they are going to the most primal of their emotions. Because when we're growing up, I mean, daddies are important, but we know that mamas make everything all right. When I'm having a really bad day, and my mama don't know this, so don't tell her. But when I'm having a really, really bad day, I want my mama. And so she don't know, but I'll have bad days, but I just gotta hear my mama's voice. And because there's something in my spirit that will say that mama will make everything all right. And I thought about this young man. I thought about George Floyd. I thought about these who, in their last moments, is calling for their mama. And that thing just got to me. It's got to me. And I think about the officers who joined the Savannah Police Department today, were penned, and those that we had hired on. And they are marked with the judgment of people based on other people who live other places. And there are some people who will never give them a chance because of what happened in Minneapolis, or what happened in Memphis, or what happened in New York, or what happened in Louisville. And these officers, and I'm so grateful for them because they stand up, they still put their hand up, even though they know that because of some of these actions, they'll be ridiculed. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I know that this young man should still be alive. And I believe that there is more than probable cause. Hey, Marsha, uh, more than probable cause for them to be arrested. And you're right, Barry. I mean, you know, it 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 could be discrimination. It's certainly a violation of what's called 1983, the color of law, that you use the law to violate or deprive somebody of their civil rights. Then you have the five officers, and they are husbands, boyfriends, their fathers, their sons, and there is a whole other group of people who are victimized by what has occurred, even though they were not involved in the act themselves. Some of you know that when your parents were involved um, in a bad act, or your children were involved, it was just like it was you, even though you had nothing to do with it. I mean, I hear from parents all the time. I mean, their hearts are broken. It's their child that's engaged, but they are the ones that feel it, or the wives, or the children, and so they have folks as well that are suffering. So you had the five officers, then you had the paramedics or firefighters who had a responsibility to render aid. And again, I'm not there. I don't know the circumstances. And so I'm looking as a third party observer. And again, I will say, and I'm going to keep saying, there needs to be a full and thorough investigation that determines what the facts are. but I'm just going off of what I see from a somewhat trained eye. That you have paramedics or firefighters or whatever they're called there in Memphis, Shelby County, who had the responsibility to render aid quickly. And you just did not see, I didn't see, or I didn't feel any immediacy about what was going on. I didn't see an urgency that we need to to deal with that. You didn't see that urgency to like, hey, let's get this guy some help. Let's render aid immediately. You just didn't see it. You didn't see it, and so um, now this is what is out. They wanted the video. The video's out, and for those who want to see it, I mean, I think, again, I wanted to see it with a clear mind, and then just base my opinion on that which I saw. You know, this is not an indictment on police officers because 99.9% of the officers get up every day as I used to. You put a uniform on and you go out, just do the best you can. At the end of the day, you just want to get home. Um, and again, I'm sending shouts out to my own, the Savannah Police Department. I still say among the best officers in the world. And they do the best they can. At the end of the day, they just want to get home. But at the end of the day, everybody just wants to get home. Um, and so I hope that we don't take this incident, unfortunate incident, uh, and paint police officers with the same brush. I think that would be irresponsible. I think it's totally unfair. Um, and we take this as officers who, despite their training, despite their oath, acted outside or allegedly acted outside of what they swore to do. And as a result, they're no longer on the force. As a result, they have been charged, arrested, and charged. And then we will have to let the legal process play out. But I wanted to talk to you about it because that was sticking to my mind. It's like, I mean, I'm like, wow. It was worse than Rodney King. It was five of them. And couldn't really figure out the reason why. Um, if you're detaining him, then you detain him. But this was a beating, and it was almost like you almost saw, you know, it was almost like a mobbish mentality where, and I've seen it happen before, and I watch videos, and you know, you see kind of this adrenaline rush, and I felt it before. It's a real thing that once your adrenaline is hyped, it is very hard to 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 pull off of that. I mean, it is it is a thing. Um, but I will tell you um, that it appears in my mind that Memphis or the folks in Memphis um, handled this the best they could. You know, they have identified the officers. They um, fired the officers, and they had charges. Um, the other thing that really tripped me out was some of the language that was used, and you know, just language that I felt was inappropriate, um, and it has me a little shaken up. Um, We have to continue to insist on good policing. Hey, Sheila, we have to continue to insist on responsible um, uh, policing, um, respectful policing, servant policing, and we have to insist on that. We have to also make sure that we celebrate officers who day in and day out, men and women who get out and all they want to do is a good job. All they want to do is help people. Everybody will not, hey Sabrina, everybody will not. People will complain about the police, but everybody won't go and put on a uniform. Everybody won't do it and go through the training and go through the the realization every day, as I used to do, that if you leave, you may not come back alive. Hey Trish, good to see you. Um, so it's a very, very difficult job. Hey Miss Alma, you welcome, Joy. And so we have to lift up those who are doing the right thing and insist on those who are doing the right thing and celebrate those who are doing the right thing. But when they're not doing the right thing, um, then we have to be able to address that. And it is a challenge for uh, police departments across the country. You know, the city of Savannah, I think we have 600 police officers. So there's 600 opportunities for people not to do the right thing, which is why we insist on training and training and training and training, which is why I used to train. Training is so important because, the more you train, you have to, um, you get muscle memory by doing the training, you know? And so, we have to deal with that. Then we have to deal with those. Hey, good to see you. Um, Good to see Michelle on and Mr. Bill um, at Ackworth, Georgia. Hey, Miss Annette, good to see you. The other thing is that, and I told our police officers this today, um, that your certification, your um, your swearing, your oath is personal to you. It is not January Jones. I don't agree with that. I'm not. I will not paint all police officers in that same vein. I'm not going to do it. I will not do it. It's not gone out the window. Police officers out right now serving and protecting. In the cold in Savannah, they're serving and protecting. Across the country, they're serving and protecting. Sometimes people don't. And when they don't, they need to be dealt with. And we need to be able to hold them accountable and responsible. Um, but as I was saying, the oath, as I told our officers, our new officers today, your oath is not to the mayor. Your oath is not to the police chief. Your oath is not to the city manager. Your oath is to God. And that oath is not given in groupthink. It wasn't that we took our oath and oaths were a contingent upon each other. Our oaths were individualized. And so it's that we need to be able to, and we call it in law enforcement word, duty to intervene. If I see something going wrong, even among a police officer, and I know people have talked about the thin blue line, I mean, we have the responsibility, we have the obligation to intervene. And I guess what I would have hoped to have seen, I would have hoped to have seen somebody say, stop, no, 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 stop, 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 Stop. 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 And I didn't see where that occurred. And I think when you look at the reasoning behind the charges, and there was no difference in the charges, I think that is partly because of the failure to intervene. So, you know, that's, you know, pray for the mother and the father of this young man. Um, Pray for these officers, um, that they acknowledge what occurred, and you know where they failed. We got to pray for the families of these officers who, you know, are living this in real time. I mean, I can only imagine in Memphis about, you know, the families of these officers, these children of these officers when they go to school, the wives of these officers, um, you know, at work. You know what they must be going through, and so, you know, it's not a good evening, and so, I'm just feeling that. So I just wanted to share it, and um, you can't unsee that which you see. So to all of my friends in Memphis, and I have a lot of friends in Memphis and in Shelby County. Hey, Vanessa, um, you know, send out love to y'all, and I'm saying to all of us, you know, that protests and demonstrations are fine. Um, Violence is never fine. It doesn't change anything. As a matter of fact, it makes things worse. And so, uh, as far as the Savannah Police Department, you know, we'll continue to look at, hey, thank you, Melissa, I appreciate that. We'll continue to look at our officers and say, you know, and reinforce, you know what, you have a duty to intervene, and use as a case study. If you don't intervene, you could be just as wrong as they are. And so, um, that's it. Judy Jones, good to see you. So, um, I know I started a little bit late, but I'll answer any questions you may have. But I wanted to talk about that. We had a council meeting yesterday. It should have probably lasted about an hour, and it lasted 3 hours and 45 minutes. But we approved a civility, um, resolution. We're the first in the state, you know, for us to try to be able to act professionally and justly. I mean, it's a shame that we have to have that, but this is happening uh, all over the country, of people, of elected servants acting inappropriately. Good to see Rockin' Robin on. Uh, so I know she's getting ready for Kansas City, the game this weekend. Um, but yeah, so we did that, and you know it passed, and there was a lot of discussion about it. I didn't ever think we would have arguments about how to be civil. I was just like, you know, where they do that. Hey, Miss Evelyn, good to see you. Um, yeah, we discussed about being civil, but you know, at the end of the day, as I've said before, um, my responsibility is to control my behavior and no one else's. At the end of the day, I expect you to hold me accountable for my behavior, um, for my temperament, for my bearing, how I carry myself. And each member of our council has to be able to do the same. And we're examined, or should be examined, based on our behavior. And so the civility resolution is something that the Georgia Municipal Association is doing all over the state. Um, there are 537 cities, and they're asking cities to do that. Um, and so, you know, Savannah was first. And so I'm hoping that our behavior will follow our aspirations. So let's see what y'all talking about. Y'all couldn't see. Thank you, Delandria. We appreciate that. Um, Michelle is praying. Um, yeah, January. People are speaking on this. Good to see Dr. Patricia West. She had Wi-Fi trouble. You're forgiven. Carolyn, thank you. Um, Ruel, you sat in there the whole night, so you saw all that was going on. Hey, Dr. Dawn Penner, good to see you. Um, well, and I mean that is. I agree. I established the CARES Task Force, which was Citizens Accountability and Review of Emergency Services. And the purpose of that was really to look at our function, look at what we do. I mean, no one should die after a traffic stop, provided there's no other felony being occurred. I mean, obviously, if a person pulls out a weapon, if the officer feels that themselves or someone else is an imminent danger, oftentimes they have the right to use deadly force. But in this case, I mean, there's no weapon. There's no imminent threat. There was 5 officers. They could have just restrained him. They didn't have to beat him. I didn't. That's what I'm understanding. I mean, it wasn't that he was necessarily combative, um, but yet they beat him, and then they talked about it with such an indifference that, in my mind, they shouldn't be police officers because they were saying what they really felt. That's an issue, and so we take those lessons and we bring them back. And I say to the city manager and I say to the police chief, and I've already said it, we need to be talking about um, failure or the duty to intervene. We have to talk about that. And let's review our policies and let every individual know that they're the police, but they're also the police of the police. And that they have an obligation to intervene when they see that someone's rights are being violated. Um, Robo, Robo, I agree with you. I mean, it is black on black crime, and well, in this case, it was a black on black crime. I mean, oftentimes we've seen it when it was a white officer and a black person. And in this case, this is black officers on a black person. I say that forget the black or the white, is blue on a black person. Um, the fact is, the color of law is the color of law, and the duty to serve and to protect somewhere got lost in this thing. And so for us, what do we have to do? We have to continually train, we have to continually educate, and then we have to make examples of people when they don't do the right thing. And so I agree with you. Tam Tam, can a council person skip out of city council meetings to campaign? Are they paid to be in attendance? Uh, no, but I mean, council members and the mayor, we report to the public ultimately. So only the public holds them responsible for their actions. So, um, you know, they're not necessarily paid to be in attendance, but you know, people have to determine that. Thank you, Miss Elsie. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Um, and thank you, Miss Helen. I appreciate that. Lee says there's no need for excessive force. I agree. Good to see the Honorable Gabrielle Nelson from District 1 in Port Wentworth. Had the opportunity to hang out with her in Atlanta at the Georgia Municipal Association. Councilwoman Nelson, I want you to know that Savannah was the first city to adopt the civility resolution. So we are now a city of civility, even though we had to fight to get the resolution approved, but it passed. It passed 6 votes for, none against, and 3 of our council members abstained from that. So just wanted to let you know. I know that you'll be doing that in Portland Worth soon. Byron, good to see you. Um, Ed, I mean, yes, we have to reach out more. We have to hear more. Grace, good to see you. Good to see Paula. Thank you for joining us as well. Um, and so we also, you know, so if there's anything y'all want to ask me about, we have some time to do that. Also, we heard that Ann Polite, Dr. Ann Polite, Levette, our our superintendent has indicated that she's going to resign or retire at the end of the school year. And so I'm going to get her on to talk about what's been happening in our schools. As you know, she joins us on Friday Night Live from time to time. So um, I was a little blindsided by it, but you know, we fussed at her, so I think we're all right. So we'll see. Um, Ms. Tillman says, "Hey Paula, Lawanda Tillman says more law enforcement officer reform can will be forthcoming. She can't watch it. Um, yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, I mean, I think again for me, I wanted to be able to see at least from my review that there was some mitigating factor, uh, some action on this young man's part that necessitated the use of force. I just didn't see it. Again, my eyes are a little more trained than most folks, but I just did not see it. What I saw was brutality. What I saw was recklessness. What I saw was a failure to um, intervene. What I saw was another young black man um, at lose their lives. I saw me because you know and to change it, I mean, it could have been me on that street or any street. And I think all we're saying is that you know we 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 want peaceful protests. We want peaceful policing. And again, I think people absolutely get it and understand that if you fight the police, they're going to fight you back. And they're going to use the amount of force to meet your level of force and overcome you. That they have a variety of means, from verbal commands, from presence to verbal commands, um, to um, soft and hard tactics, all the way up to deadly force, to be able to um, deal with the issue. Um, I did not see any of that. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. And that was the sad part. Um, Good to see you, Janita. Thank you for joining us. Um, and to hear this young man cry for his mama, and for a mother to receive that call that no mother ever wants to receive, that there's been an incident or there's been a DUI. Um, you know, I'm just saying. Barry says what I saw as a person with a discipline of a young black man sometimes tense up where it's noticeable. My body will jerk. I thought it would work. I'm doing its own. If I become by law and officer, it's going to happen. Um, well, Miss Handy, yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything where he was never violent. I hadn't seen anything where he even had a criminal record or he was in the commission of a crime. If it was a DUI, it was a DUI. A DUI is not a violent crime. Again, these were 5 officers. This wasn't one officer. This wasn't where it was a fight to the death. This wasn't a fight for the weapon. This wasn't where the officer was grabbing for the weapon. I mean, it was sheer overpowering. And so, again, we need to insist that a full uh, investigation occurs. Um, these officers deserve their day in court. Our system of justice allows for them to be innocent until proven guilty, regardless of what we see. Terry Mobley has just shown up all laid up, an hour late. Um, and so we'll have to deal with you later, Miss Terry Mobley. But, um, they deserve the day in court. And so, although I see what I see, they deserve the day in court. And so they're innocent until proven guilty. Um, and I think we have to keep that in mind as well. Uh, Vernicia says, based on the video, the level of force used was totally unnecessary. If the young man had created a forcible felony, it would have been different. There was a senior officer that should have taken the charge. I agree. I mean, there should have been some officer, somebody who should have said, hey, stop, hold up, y'all hold up. And it just didn't seem like it happened. It just didn't seem like it happened. And so we know that this incident makes things hard and difficult for every police officer in our community. And I've asked, particularly when we see police officers, to thank them for their service. Because, everybody wants to defund the police, but everybody wants the police when something happens. Hey, Catalina, Terry Mobley's at the Delta cluster in Columbus, Georgia. I don't care about that, Terry. You know at 8 o'clock what goes down. What you should have done was tell them, I'm sorry, y'all, I need to take a break at 8 o'clock because it is Friday Night Live. The only good news was that Ivy Fair was not on tonight, so you didn't have to be present to make her behave. So, but anyway, anything else? It's been a heavy night. It's been a heavy, heavy, heavy night. And all we could do is, pray for everybody involved. Pray for the mother and father who lost their son. Pray for the officers who could very well spend the rest of their life behind bars. Pray for them that wear that badge and somehow or another something, went wrong. Pray for the families and the loved ones of these officers who are now going through their personal hell. Pray for the people in Memphis and the police department there, and what they're dealing with. That mayor and that council and those residents. Say a prayer for them, and say a prayer for the Savannah Police Department. Many are out protecting and serving and dealing with calls every single moment of the day. Pray for police departments everywhere. Um, we'll see where it goes. And for those of you who wonder, should you watch the video? If you don't have to, don't. I mean, I wanted to kind of see it. So, how's Goose? Goose is coming along well. Thank you, Miss Gloria. Um, I need this. I'm gonna try to see Goose this week. I'm gonna have Goose come by, hang out with me for a little bit, kind of help bring down my temperature. Kind of get me right. So, but yeah, Goose say Goose is doing well, and we might be getting somebody else as well. Um, Nicole says pray for our officers that's still patrolling and have these situations. Yeah, I mean, give them the wisdom that when they encounter something, that A, they remember their training, uh, or secondly, if they see something wrong, that they feel the onus, they feel the duty, they feel the responsibility, they feel the obligation to intervene. That wrong is wrong no matter who does it. And so I would certainly suggest that, for those of you that have children, don't let them watch that video, please. Please, 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 don't let them see that video. Molly says that Goose has already been out at Williams Elementary. Well, I need to get him back to the mayor's office just so I could talk to him about some things. Goose is our therapy dog, and he's a beautiful black lab, and I want him to come and hang out with me for a little bit. So, but I thank you all this evening. Always a pleasure to be with you. This is week number 149. Next week we'll be celebrating 150, and I'm still waiting on us to have our in-person Friday Night Live, or maybe we need to do it on Thursday. But we need to do an event. I'm wanting to do it. I want to do it. Yeah, I mean, I want to do it. Whoa, Miss Charlotte, you're in Candler Hospital. All right. Well, send me La. Good to see you, Miss Charlotte. Send me your inbox me your room number so we can come and check on you. Okay. And I hope you're doing better. I hope you're out. So I'm gonna give you some love. That's because I love Miss Charlotte. So, Marcia, thank you so much to all of you. Good night. I appreciate you. May there be peace on earth, and may it begin with me. Thank you all so much. Thank you for watching Friday Night Live, week number 149. Have a good night.